Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Derptopia SMP. My name's Fiasco, thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are in a place that may not be familiar to you if you do not follow me on Twitch. That's right, we've done a little bit of work around the base, and I am in one of my brand new wizard towers, or just watchtowers. I guess they're not really very wizardy, but what we did was, in order to mark out our property, I installed a few of these towers around, and I think that they turned out pretty darn cool. We've also put a few other things around the base, starting with this floating island. I just wanted to see what one would look like if we put one up here, and I thought that it turned out really good. It might be a little bit close to our next project, though, which is a big tree. That's right, we're doing a tree. If you've seen Hermitcraft Season 7, you're probably familiar with Iskal's Mega Tree. This will not be that. This is not going to be as big, but you can see I've started kind of laying out the roots of it. Now, I will fully admit, I don't know how to build a big tree. I am totally just winging this, making it up as I go along. The portal's off center. That's bothering me, but we'll move that later. That's okay. So that's the current project, and I think this is going to be very important for laying out the rest of our village. Otherwise, I might work on a few other things that we need to, like a place for a super smelter and things like that. But I want to get this done because this will be the center point of our entire village. There we go. Taking off's been hard on the server recently. So if we get this tree in, then I can lay out the rest of our village based on that. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And I'm not going to lie, it's a grind. Getting all this wood, even though we have a wood farm, thanks to some council peeps, it just takes a long time. So I am going to go and collect some more wood. I believe I do still have some, but I want to start today just building this tree, just getting as much of this done as I can. So I still do have a pretty decent supply, but we are going to need more than that. And when you turn oak logs into these oak wood, the texture is different. It's all bark on all sides, and this is great. I do want to build with this, but when you make this, you'll lose a lot of wood in the process. I think you lose about a third of your wood converting them to oak wood. So, a whole shulker box is only really 2 rows of this oak wood, and I believe that's the conversion. It might even be more brutal than that. No. Okay, so you lose 25% of your wood, not 30. So that's not as bad, but still. Yeesh. It takes a long time to get. So I'm going to go and gather some more wood, and then we are just going to start plugging away at this bad boy. Alright, so now that we have some more logs, we can start working on this. And I'll show you the process. It's actually not horribly interesting to watch, but basically what I've been doing is, I know that I want the roots to end kind of around there. And flying around this, these roots might be large. These might be some pretty big roots for a pretty big tree. But honestly, it's a fantasy tree. It doesn't have to look like a real tree. It can be big and wacky and disproportionate, and I don't care. That's kind of my go-to for everything that I'm doing here. Is I'm like, it's fantasy. It doesn't really matter. But it works for me, so that is how we are doing it. Let me get rid of these. I was breaking some holes in the bedrock roof right above my place here, just for a little bit more ease of access. But we don't need those anymore. What we do need is some dirt. Aha, this dirt. Now, we need dirt so that we can kind of make it the most efficient way possible. So this route is quite long, which means that it is going to probably be at this level for a little while, maybe till about here. Then we're going to step it up. Then we'll throw the dirt underneath. That way we're not wasting a log there. So this place is going to be quite full of dirt by the end of it. And yeah, some of it will end up like that eventually. I'm going to go through afterwards and add the oak wood rather than these oak logs here. And that should help with the texture and whatnot. And we can even add, things like that and blah, blah, blah. But basically, I'm going to start from the middle of this route and work my way all the way up there, kind of in a very gradual way. And that way I'll have like a framework for the rest of it. I'll show you what I mean in a second here. Alright, so that is going to be kind of the arc of the route, and that one is probably the longest one. And I learned that you gotta kind of kind of dip them down a little bit. So they got to go like in and then up a little bit more gradually. Kind of like if a rope was hanging. It would start a little steeper and then make it a little more gradual outward. And I think that looks pretty good. And we're taking off now. Oof. That gets really difficult. So then I just kind of fly around and I take a look at it from the side. And yeah, that looks pretty natural, although that one might actually be bigger. Now for the gradient on these, or not gradient, I guess the slope on these, I am trying to be a little more random, I suppose. So you see we have got 3 there, and then it steps up by 1, and then maybe this one will be 2, and then another 3, something like that. I'm trying to not have them be perfect, because roots in nature are very far from perfect. They are ridgy, they are bumpy, they've got all types of imperfections, which is perfect, because nature is imperfect. Which I say, imperfection is perfection when you're dealing with natural stuff like this. And it just honestly kind of takes the pressure off of you when you're building. Like, when there isn't a right answer to a question, the answer can be whatever you want it to be. I don't want to use netherrack, but I think I have to. I don't want to go and get more dirt right now. We're kind of on a roll here. So that is what we're going to have to put up with. Now, basically, I'm just shooting for this general area. Sometimes it ends up a little low, like in that case. Sometimes it ends up a little high. That's okay. This is just like where I'm supposed to end up. This will all be changed after. Even the stuff that's over here and filled in, it'll all get changed up after, just to kind of make it look a little more natural, or hopefully make it look a little more natural. With somebody who doesn't really know what he's doing. You just gotta kind of hope for the best. But let's see here. So now we're going to need to kind of make our slope a little more steep here in a second. But I want to get a little closer first. And then over here, we can end up going, let's do 2 blocks on that one. And 3 up there. Maybe we'll even go 4. But that can all be details later. So then we just take a look at our slope, see if we're happy with it. I am pretty happy with that. And yeah, we'll just fill in and repeat the process like that on the rest of them as well. And I think once these roots are done, we'll really start seeing some progress here. The trunk itself won't take that long because it's not going to be terribly tall. This is going to be a very stubby tree, but that's okay. Because again, fantasy, it's whatever. Oh, come on now. This is why Riptide is the best. There we go. Wait till we're falling. And we fly. All right, now we've got this bad boy pretty well filled in on the root section. And it was looking... Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. It was looking a little funky, I found, with the exposed tops of the wood, with that brighter oak right there. These little bad guys here. So all I've been doing is going around and placing the oak logs, or the oak wood, on top of it, and it seems to be making a huge difference. If we go to this side over here, I've already started that process, and it just looks better. I mean, why would the bark be exposed on the top, right? It doesn't make any sense. So it is going to mean more wood, but honestly, at the end of the day, as long as this project looks good, I will go and harvest more wood for as long as I need to. Now, you'll probably notice I'm having a little bit of trouble getting some natural shapes in here, and that's fine. It's just driving me a little insane. Suddenly I've forgotten what roots look like and trees. And that's a concern, because I have seen them many times before. But I think it's just placing them directly on top isn't always going to work. So I still need to round things off sometimes like that a little more manually. So we're going to do a little bit of placing, and if it doesn't all work out, that's okay. We'll just go back and fix it. Imperfection is perfection. So I'm going to spend the next 11 years of my life gathering some wood and trying to get this thing looking a-okay. And if I can get the roots done today, we'll be laughing. The canopy is going to take quite a while, but these roots, man, they're going to look so great when they're finally in. And yeah, we're also going to be adding all types of foliage and things like that. So the tree itself might even be a little bit crooked, just to accommodate kind of the wackier root style. Now is the tough part. Now I need to go and get many wood. Probably going to have to spend a while at the tree farm. Maybe I'll bring back a shulker of the oak wood, and hopefully that will be enough. And that'll probably take me, I don't know, maybe an hour to get that much, which as far as wood gathering isn't terrible. You know, definitely could be better, or I mean, could be worse. Ooh, Freudian slip. Okay, let's get to work. And it was a little bit more work and a lot of wood gathering, but totally worth it to have that trunk now in all of the oak wood rather than those oak logs. It just looks a lot better this way. And I tried to do a little bit more shaping, and I'm not entirely sure if this is what a tree looks like. But you know what? Let's just move on with it, because I could second guess myself all day, and normally I do. But I don't have all day, and I'm kind of cruising on this, and I kind of like it. So now what we're going to do is probably grab some dirt or something, and maybe start framing out. I think probably the trunk will go to about as tall as this dirt. No, missed it right there. I think that's why I marked that out in the first place. So I'll bring the trunk up to about there, and it'll be mostly straight going up from here. There'll be a little bit of texture in it, hopefully. But then we're going to start branching out with our actual branches, and that's where this beautiful specimen is probably going to be in the way. Oh, I just got to show it on today's video, and now it's got to get torn down, but them's the breaks. All right, so now I don't think I actually need to use oak wood for this, so I can use my oak logs, and wouldn't you know, I probably don't have enough, so I might need to go back to the wood farm. But thankfully we have plenty of oak wood left over for the branches, because that will probably be mostly oak wood as well. We just don't want that bark texture showing. However, basically doing 2 layers of wood on this thing has made it a lot sturdier. So if I break through some of this, it's not going to immediately be the other side, which is kind of nice too. A little bit of a waste of wood, but I mean, it's more of a waste of time than anything, I suppose. I mean, wood is renewable, so yeah. Unfortunately, my time is not. Okay, let's get to work. Now that I built the trunk up a little ways and kind of give it a little bit of a crookedness to it, I do think it probably needs to be a little thicker, but what I'm going to do is just kind of like extend the sides up and down and have a little bit of texture in there, which I think will make it look a lot thicker. But before I can do that, I want the branches to kind of go out so I have a gauge of the space that this thing is going to take up. So I harvested a bunch of dirt because I was running out, and also apparently a bunch of junk like that cooked cod. So I'm going to go up and with dirt kind of like wireframe out some branches to see, and I think it's going to be quite large, but maybe I'll do a couple main branches, and then you want your main branches to have smaller branches coming off of it where your canopy goes out. I should maybe watch a video on how to do this. Maybe Iskall's, to be perfectly honest, did not finish his season. I didn't get to see his tree at the end of it. So yeah, I'm not really sure how he did it. And I've never seen anyone else do a tree like this. So we're just going to wing it like we always do. And I am completely out of rockets. So we are going to wing it into our ender chest area, and then we will get back to work on those branches. And this is what it looks like kind of with the branches laid out. So if we fly around, all of these branches are 30 blocks long. They all go in different patterns and angles and at different ways out of the tree trunk because I wanted them to all look unique, like regular tree branches. They don't go in patterns. I mean, they do, technically, but they're not perfect patterns. That makes sense? So what I'm going to do is just start building out from this, and then that's going to like have to arc into there, and those will have to arc into each other. And so like this looks a little boxy right now, but it will like become much more dynamic in the future. However, this is a very big project, and yeah, I haven't really allotted my time all that well, and I'm not really sure what else is left for time in this episode. I don't want to leave it too long, but I think maybe we'll try and get some branches done. And here is what she's looking like. Ooh, baby. Much, much better with some branches on her. It's also very hard to see right now because it is nighttime. And it's the only time I seem to be able to use my Riptide to fly around like this. So we are just going to embrace it. Also, we've been asked not to sleep tonight, so hopefully everyone abides by that. I'm sure someone's moving villagers or something. But look at that, much better. Hello there, you creeps. Get it. Oh, all right. And I should be getting... there we go. If I could land a crit, it should be a one-hit kill with the Impaling 5 Trident. Oh, baby. God, I love this thing. So yeah, as you can see that we have marked out these branches, and then they start to splinter off like this. And then once you get some leaves on them, they look really, really nice. Now, I am still figuring everything out, of course. It's all very new to me, so I'm going to be making mistakes and whatnot. I think our island is going to stay, and maybe there'll be like a break in the canopy where this island has pushed its way through. I think that that could be really cool. As you can see, I like left some logs exposed there for like the leaves that have fallen off and whatnot. And I might put some sticks and whatnot on the ground there to make it a little more obvious. But I really like the island. And yeah, the island is going to have more to do with the lore of the world that I'll be putting together maybe in next episode. So yeah, I need to get working on this tree though, and it's taking a very long time. These branches I actually did on a live stream, which was just so much fun. Please, if you're not following on Twitch, you're missing out on a lot of great stuff. Please do join in. But that's where we're going to end this episode, just because once you see this part of the process, it's just this repeating over and over and over and over again. And I am going to need to look at some reference photos of branches because this isn't what a branch looks like. I need to get these shaped up a little better and also kind of figure out like how this section is going to look. I kind of want it to be open on the top, but that will be subject to change. We also have just so much work to do. I need to go and get a few more shulker boxes of leaves just to finish these two branches. But I'm very excited to see what it looks like when they're all filled in. You know what? I'm going to leave that guy because I don't feel like I'm quick enough to get him before he blows up part of my tree. So that is where we are going to end this episode. And this is just so exciting. I've been having a lot of fun building this tree so far, and I am very excited to see how it turns out. I'm going to try and get it all done before the next episode comes out, just so that we have a fresh slate to start working on our world's lore, or a new building, or a new shop, or something cool like that. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Fiasco, and I'll catch you in the next one.